What's up, dudes? This
What's
is
up?
Captain Gimpy, and that's
Zen Burrow. And yeah, I'm over in his abode, and we watched a very good movie. One you guys probably have heard about.
I don't know what it's called. It's called The Bug, right?
No, you're close though.
Parasite Eve?
Nope, that's a video game. But
Junji Ito.
no, it's Parasite.
Oh, I said Parasite Eve.
Yeah,
Bong Joon Ho is the writer and director.
yep,
He brought us Snowpiercer, which this dude hasn't seen, unfortunately.
no,
Um, but yeah, so this won an Academy Award recently, so we figured we'd watch it and kind of give you our thoughts on it. This might not be a review,
right,
but it'll be a video that talks about the movie.
yep.
You want to tell us a little bit about the setup for the film?
Yeah, so there's this poor Korean family, the Kims, and uh, it begins with their son. He gets into like these rich people's homes, posing as an English tutor for their daughter.
Who's about to enter college, apparently.
Yeah, and soon what he does is he starts slowly integrating his family as workers that work for these rich people.
Right, so they start eliminating staff from the Park family home. The Park family is the rich family
Yeah,
that they end up working for. And he ends up replacing those people with members of his family
yep.
who are all posing as different people. So basically, they con their way into rich people's houses.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty interesting setup and angle.
For those of you that are familiar with Snowpiercer, there was a degree of physical separation between the different strata of the society in the film, and this kind of does the same thing, except they use really, really common structures. One is a basement level dwelling. The next is a half basement apartment, which is apparently really common in South Korea.
Yeah.
And then you have the upper dwellings where all the rich people live. So those are the 3 degrees of physical separation that vary literally in the film, as well as certain metaphorical aspects, sort of separate the different levels of society in the movie.
Right. So yeah, there's an interesting class struggle in this film.
In that way, it kind of reminded me of The Purge a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Without the murders.
Yeah, well,
Well,
there were murders, but
yeah.
not like The Purge. Like, in The Purge, everybody was dying and somebody was chasing somebody.
Right, right.
In this movie, it's not so much like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of interesting character development that goes on in the movie.
What were some of your favorites?
I think it was like how these characters try to adapt to the Park family and their habits and all that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, really. The title. I was about to say Eve. The title Parasite.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the title Parasite is very apt for this film because I was kind of thinking like, who's the real parasite? The rich people who exploit the labor of the poor, or the poor people that latch on to the rich people?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say?
To your point.
Yeah.
So in the movie, they're the Park family's old housekeeper who gets replaced by the protagonist's mother.
Yeah.
Has her husband living in a secret basement level bunker for the last 4 years, and she just secretly brought him food.
Yeah.
And so really, like, he's living off the Park family without the Park family knowing.
Yep.
Which is largely what happens with parasites in Animal Kingdom. So that
yeah.
I started thinking about what you were saying from that angle.
Yeah, there's so many perspectives you can take on this film.
Oh,
it's not even funny. So don't even yeah.
And like there's this kind of class-oriented Romeo and Juliet story between like the daughter of the Park family and the son, Ki Woo, and the Kim family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this moment in the movie that kind of stuck with me. He's like, "Oh, look at all these people down there. They look so cool doing really ordinary things." Like,
Yeah.
and he stops for a minute and he's like, "Hey, do I fit in?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "What do you mean?" And he points down there and he's like, "In this place, in this world with them, dude, do I fit in here?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh yeah, because you know she likes the magic stick." And but
Yep.
I mean, but the whole thing, like to me, it reminds me of like, because I'm poor, but like, you know, I've
Yeah.
had friends who've become really successful, and I've seen people go through that. It's like, dude, I earned all this money, and or like I'm in this new place now, and I thought that would be it for me, but like sometimes I feel like I don't belong, and it touches on the very real experience of imposter syndrome, and in this case, he is an imposter.
Yeah.
He didn't even give his real name. He
Mhm.
has no qualifications. He just
No.
happens to be smart enough in those particular areas of study that he can do the job.
Right.
Which, in my opinion, should be all that matters, but we all know that that's not it.
Right.
So yeah, I was thinking about that too.
Yeah, same. And I just think there's so much that you could have a conversation on in this film, not just like characters, but society in general.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and how rich and poor, middle class, how they all interact.
Do you remember in the movie when the rich husband and wife were talking about what I'm gonna call the smell of poor people?
Yeah.
Basically, the husband is like, yeah, they kind of smell like the subway.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I've met people who think like that. They think, you know, people of a certain socioeconomic class are automatically dirty
Yeah.
or less, and it's freaking sickening.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's just a lot of details.
What are some other things that stood out to you in the movie? Because I mean, this can be long if you want it to be.
um, I'd say just the whole that whole sequence with the husband in the basement and
Oh, dude.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the former housekeeper kind of going nuts, but you kind of understand where they're coming from too. I don't know. I felt like this was a very great film,
It was.
which is not a bad thing. It's one of my favorites.
And like there was this scene where the Kim family discovers, you know, the basement dwelling husband of the former housekeeper, and the former housekeeper tries to plead with the mother of the Kim family, being like, Ani, like we're the same, you and I. Don't you see? Blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
And she uses the word ani the same way you would hear onesan in Japanese, and it's a way of kind of appealing respectfully to the person you're talking to. And she tries to pull that, and for a minute, like the woman buys into it, and it causes this whole spiral of events, which turns what was a fairly funny film to me because I was watching it from kind of a social commentary satire angle.
Yeah.
Like that's how I read most of the film. So when that started happening, I was like, oh, this is when more of the horror elements come into play.
Yeah.
But it's not like traditional horror. It's more using horrific elements to amplify the message of the film.
Yeah.
Right? So in The Purge, the first movie, it's about intrusion of the lower class into the upper stratosphere of society.
Yep.
That's one reading of the film, right? And so if you take that, this film had a lot in common because on the one hand you have these people that are very literally still squatting in this house.
Yeah.
And they are still intruders because they're not legal owners. And then you have the Kim family doing the exact same thing. And there seems to be this message that if you allow this to happen, some sort of anarchy ensues.
Yep.
And I think the director was trying to make you like feel what that's like from a personal point of view, and I think he did a really good job.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Anything you want to add? Say whatever you want, man.
I think I don't know. I think you pretty much said what I wanted to say about it.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, but
I tend to do that.
yeah, Parasite is freaking cool, and I would watch it again just so I could have more thoughts about it.
Dude, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even know if I want to write a review.
Yeah, this one's
Dude, I mean, dude, this might be a verdict video because I want people to watch this.
yeah.
But dude, it's totally a good movie. It'll definitely make you think
Yeah.
a lot. I had a friend ask me if I was gonna review this movie, which is kind of why I secretly invited you over here.
Yeah.
It just so happens that neither of us had class, and
Yep.
so we were like, let's knock this out early. Who usually likes comedies, and she was like, you're probably gonna like it because you like this stuff. I like more lighthearted things. She was totally on point because
Yeah.
I really dig this movie.
Yep.
Dude, that long aerial shot of the father near the end kind of going in the basement to claim the space that the other family had taken.
Yeah.
It was just like, I'd never seen an aerial shot like that in a movie. Usually you get these like high up crane or helicopter shots that are so far removed from the scene that it feels impersonal, but like it never broke the connection with any of the main characters through the entire film. And that in itself is pretty genius, I think.
Yeah. It is.
Anyway, I don't think we're telling you anything you don't already know if you've seen this movie. If you haven't seen this movie and you're into anything we've talked about, watch it. If you're just a vanilla horror fan, you might think it's dumb and you'd be wrong, and I would vehemently disagree, but like that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch the other movies that this dude has written and directed personally.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I gotta find him, Snowpiercer, and I guess that's it for this video. If you like anything about this at all, whether or not you think we have funny looking faces or hair, or
yeah.
you like what we have to say, hopefully that's why you subscribe. But if not, we're good with the other reasons too.
Yep.
Hit that button, and we'll see you at the movies.
Yep.
Bye.
See you then.